The biggest lie you will ever be told, my dear, is that you have time. Time to fix things, time to find yourself, time to stop pleasing people who do not even like you. You do not. Stop waiting for the right moment to walk away from disrespect. The right moment was the first time they showed you who they were. Pull up a chair. Sit with me for a moment. Let me pour you a cup of tea. I look at you, with your whole life stretching out ahead like a beautiful, unwritten book, and I see so much potential. But I also see the worry in your eyes. I see the heavy weight you carry on your shoulders, trying to be everything to everyone, trying to figure it all out before the clock strikes midnight. I am in my 80s now. My hands are wrinkled, my steps are much slower, and my eyes have seen seasons change more times than I can count. When you reach this age, the noise of the world gets very, very quiet. The things that used to keep me awake at night, pacing the floor with a knot in my stomach, simply do not matter anymore. But I look back at that young woman I was at 20, so desperate for approval, so terrified of making a mistake, and my heart aches for her. I want to tell you what I wish I could tell her. Because, my sweet child, life is too short to learn these lessons when you are running out of time to use them. Listen to me closely, because this is not just passing advice from an old woman. This is a map through the wilderness you are walking right now. We spend so much of our youth believing that if we just follow the rules, if we just make everyone else happy, we will eventually be rewarded with our own happiness. That is a dangerous illusion. True peace does not come from being perfectly accommodating. It comes from being perfectly authentic. So, take a deep breath, leave your burdens at the door, and let us talk about the truths that took me a lifetime to understand. When I was 20 years old, I believed that love meant sacrifice. Not the beautiful, selfless kind of sacrifice, but the kind that chips away at your soul until there is nothing left of your own identity. I was engaged to a man who looked wonderful on paper. Everyone in our town said I was so lucky to have him. But behind closed doors, he had a subtle, cruel way of making me feel incredibly small. He never raised his hand to me, no, but his words were like tiny paper cuts to my spirit. He would mock my dreams, dismiss my feelings, and make me believe I was difficult to love. And what did I do? I tried harder. I thought if I could just be quieter, prettier, more accommodating, he would finally see my worth. I spent years twisting myself into a pretzel to fit into a tiny box he built for me. I stopped wearing bright colors because he said they were too loud and drew too much attention. I stopped painting, which was my greatest joy since childhood, because he said it was a messy waste of time. I gave away pieces of my spirit like loose change, thinking I was buying his love. It took me nearly a decade, 10 long, irreplaceable years of my youth, to realize that you cannot make someone respect you by shrinking yourself to fit their insecurities. One rainy Tuesday afternoon, I was cleaning up after a dinner party he had hosted. He had spent the entire evening making jokes at my expense to his colleagues, and I had simply smiled and served the food. I walked into the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I did not recognize the hollow woman looking back at me. The bright spark in her eyes was completely gone. That was the day I packed a single suitcase and walked out the door while he was at work. People talked. Oh, how they talked. They called me foolish. They said I was throwing away my future and financial security. But in the quiet of my tiny, empty, drafty apartment that first night alone, I felt something I had not felt in years. Absolute peace. I learned the hard way that walking away from someone who does not value you is not a failure. It is a rescue mission. I rescued myself. But my dear, I wish I had known at 20 that I did not need to wait for a breaking point to choose myself. I wish I knew that a table where you have to beg for a seat is not a table worth sitting at. Let me share with you the hard-earned lessons that cost me my youth to learn. First, stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your peace of mind is worth far more than being right. If someone chooses to see you in a bad light, let them. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Silence is a beautiful, powerful weapon against chaos. Second, do not ever be afraid of being the villain in someone else's story if it means being the hero in your own. You will have to disappoint people to save yourself. You will have to say no to family members, to friends, to partners. And they will call you selfish. Let them. Selfishness is often just a word used by those who are angry they can no longer exploit your kindness. Third, you must know your worth and then add tax. You are not a discount item to be placed on a clearance rack for whoever comes along. If they wanted to, they would. It truly is that simple. If a man or a friend or an employer values you, you will not have to guess where you stand. Confusion is a red flag, my dear. It is a neon sign that you are standing in the wrong place. Fourth, a woman must always have her own money. I do not care how much in love you are. Financial independence is the key to a door you never want to find locked when you desperately need to escape. Fifth, stop going to war with your own body. At 20, you scrutinize every flaw. You hate your thighs. You wish your hair was different. When you are 80, you will look at photographs of yourself at 20 and weep at how breathtakingly beautiful you were and how sad it was that you could not see it. Your body is the only house you will ever live in. Treat it with profound gratitude. And perhaps the most important lesson of all, failure is not the opposite of success. It is an essential part of it. At 20, you think every mistake is a permanent life sentence. You think choosing the wrong major, the wrong job, or the wrong partner means your life is completely ruined. Oh, how I laugh at that notion now. Your 20s and 30s are specifically for making mistakes. They are for trying on different lives until you find the one that fits your soul perfectly. Do not rush to have it all figured out. The masterpiece of your life is still being painted. Reflection, I sit here in my favorite armchair, looking out at the garden I have lovingly tended to for 40 years. I watch the seasons change with a steady rhythm. The vibrant leaves fall, the harsh winter freezes the ground, and yet, every single spring, without fail, the beautiful flowers return. We are just like nature, you know. We go through seasons of deep loss, of coldness, of feeling completely barren and empty. But you will bloom again. I promise you that with every fiber of my being. When I look back at my long life, my true regrets are never about the wild risks I took. I do not regret quitting terrible jobs with no backup plan. I do not regret leaving toxic relationships when I was terrified of being alone. I do not regret the times I finally spoke my mind and demanded respect. My only regrets, the ones that still whisper in the dark, are the times I stayed silent. The times I let fear and societal expectations dictate my choices. The times I stayed a year too long in a place where my soul was starving for nourishment. You have a magnificent, beautiful, untamed life ahead of you. But you're the sole author. You hold the pen. Do not hand it over to anyone else. Not to your well-meaning parents, not to a society that profits from your self-doubt, and certainly not to a romantic partner who wants to rewrite your spirit. Take a deep breath right now. Feel your lungs fill with air. That is the feeling of absolute possibility. Your life is entirely up to you. You must forgive yourself for the things you did not know back then. Forgive yourself for the times you accepted less than you deserved because you were just trying to survive. But now you know better. And when you know better, my sweet girl, you must do better. Do not waste another precious day being at war with yourself. So, my beautiful friend, wipe those tears if you are crying. Stand up a little straighter. The world out there is heavy, but your shoulders are strong enough to carry your own sky. Take these words, hold them close to your beating heart, and remember them when the night gets impossibly dark. You are worthy of immense love simply because you exist on this earth. You do not have to exhaust yourself trying to earn your right to be here. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for taking up space in rooms you belong in. Go out there and truly live. Make the glorious mistakes, take the terrifying chances, and whenever you feel lost or alone in the world, remember that you always have a warm home right here in these quiet moments with someone who believes in you completely. I love you, my dear. I truly, deeply do. Now, go out there and make yourself proud. If these words brought a little warmth and light to your soul today, please consider subscribing to our little family here. Share this message with someone you love, someone who might desperately need a reminder of their own incredible worth today. Leave a comment below and tell me what difficult lesson you're learning right now in your own beautiful life. I sit and read every single one, and it brings so much joy to my old heart to hear your wonderful stories. Until next time, be gentle with yourself.